Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on Thursday. We're nearly at the end of another week. One signing in so far for Arsenal. Any others to follow this week? Not sure. Maybe Matt Turner. I don't know when that's going to be announced. He is in England at the moment, the goalkeeper, ahead of finalising his move for Arsenal. I'm not sure if we're going to have to wait until July the 1st for that one to be announced. I don't know. But he is here at the moment and has been for the last couple of days to undergo his medical and all that sort of thing. So we're just waiting for the confirmation of Matt Turner. But any other sort of significant outfield signings? Doesn't seem like we're right there yet, but we seem to be edging closer when it comes to certainly what you would say the main signing of the summer for Arsenal, the big one, the striker, Gabriel Jesus. Still have to agree a fee with Manchester City. That's the big thing at the moment. And of course, when any transfer, that is the biggest thing, because if you don't agree a fee, you're not going to get the player. But still, there is certainly a sense that we are getting towards that stage with Manchester City. But until it's done, I mean, you can't celebrate, can you? You can't. He's not in the building until it is all done and dusted. Reports today, widespread reports from a lot of the Tottenham pack. When I say pack, that is the sort of journalists who cover Tottenham, who follow them around, all reporting the same thing this morning, that Tottenham are out of the race for Gabriel Jesus. Which kind of suggests again, that they are very well aware that he's going somewhere else. And certainly when you talk to people in and around the game and agents and things like that, they all seem to say the same thing, and that they think Gabriel Jesus is very much on his way to Arsenal. But again, until this deal is done, until the agreement is reached between the clubs, then no one can celebrate yet. I mean, it is the big one. We all know that Arsenal have to sign a central forward, this striker. All the eggs at the moment seem to be in the Gabriel Jesus basket. Desperate to get that one over the line. It's just a case of doing it now. So the two clubs will continue to talk. They'll continue to try and come up with a compromise, a package that suits everyone, in terms of what's being paid up front, what will be paid over the course of the next few years, clauses, all that sort of thing. It's never as easy as just slapping down 50 million and saying that's it, done and dusted. These transfers are very, very complicated. And that's the stage we are with Jesus. But certainly interesting news that Tottenham have clearly been briefing to their sort of local pack that they are now no longer in the running for Gabriel Jesus, and it seems like they're going to be turning their attentions to Rafinha and Richarlison. Be surprised if they get both of those players. It kind of feels like it'd be one or the other with those two. And for Arsenal, obviously, they're probably hoping it's probably Richarlison, because they very much want to sign Rafinha as well and have already had a bid rejected for him. No surprise he is in demand at the moment. Tottenham, Chelsea been heavily linked with him. Barcelona, of course, we all know about, and that is his first choice. And there seems like there's been an agreement reached with Barcelona for months, according to Fabrizio Romano, and the sort of personal terms, everything's done with Barcelona. But until Barcelona can stump up the sort of cash that leads a demand in, then that is a deal that is not going to happen. So Rafinha and his agents, everyone have to look elsewhere for a potential move. And Arsenal very much right in the running for Rafinha, but kind of similar to Jesus. They've just got to find a fee, come up with a fee that suits Leeds, and if they do that, then they'll get permission to get things done with a player. So that's where we are with Jesus at the moment. I said at the start of the week I'd be very surprised if we get to the end of this week and we don't know a little bit more about exactly where we stand with Jesus. I do think it's quite interesting that Tottenham have clearly started briefing today that they are no longer in the running for him. Just my hunch there as a journalist and how these things work tends to make you think, they've obviously been told that it's not happening, that he's not going to be signing for them, and that's why it gets briefed that they are no longer in the running for him. I don't know, however you want to look at it. If you set them trying to save face that they're not going to sign him, whatever. But it kind of tends to be how it works at the moment. Not at the moment in this industry, when a club is told by a certain player or the agents that he's not going to be signing for them, then it will emerge that they are no longer in the running for him. It's just how it works. So that's just my sort of journalistic hunch there on exactly what's happening with Tottenham. But again, until it's all confirmed, until Arsenal can strike an agreement with Manchester City, who knows? Spurs could end up coming back into the running for him. Someone else could. Chelsea could get themselves into gear now Lukaku's gone and come in with some more money than Arsenal and try and pounce and get things done late. So let's just got to get this deal done. Get him signed up. Make sure he's in the building before the tour of America, and then you can really sort of build your pre-season around the fact that you've got your central striker in, and then you can really start to move forward on other targets as well. So really feels essential now that Arsenal ramp this up and get this done with Manchester City ASAP. Player, interesting one, this one. Nuno Tavares, obviously only signed last season, had a mixed first season. Thought he definitely did start very well. I think we were all a little bit excited about the sort of, certainly the attributes that Nuno Tavares had. Clearly was very, very raw player. We knew that when we signed him. Everyone who'd seen him at Benfica had told us that. As the season progressed, he certainly struggled more and more, didn't he? No doubt about it. I thought he coped with it pretty well towards the end of the season when he got his little run in the side. I mean, it clearly looked he was a little bit short for the Premier League at the moment, but you got to remember he's very young. It's only his first full season, but it seems like Atlanta in Serie A are looking at him. Their head of senior recruitment was talking about it, has gone sort of public with it, said, I've followed Tavares since he was young and playing for Benfica's youth team. He's a strong player, but Tavares is under contract with Arsenal and it's really difficult to sign players from Premier League clubs. Kind of feels like Tavares, a loan would be a good option for Tavares this season, but having said that, I don't think Arsenal could let that happen without them first bringing in someone who can cover for Kieran Tierney at left back. You need some sort of natural cover there, even if at times towards the end of the season when Tomiyasu was fit, for example, he moved over rather than Tavares, and I can understand that, but you still need some sort of natural cover just in case, I feel. On that left-hand side, and I'm not sure unless Arsenal go out and sign someone who can play there, and we know they're after, was it Martinez, the Ajax goalkeeper, the Ajax centre-back who can play sort of left-sided as well. You get him on board, then you can potentially let Tavares out. I just don't see how you can do it unless someone else comes in this summer. Like I said, I think it'd be a good move for him. I think if he could play there, Atlanta, a good side, attacking side, would fit. Tavares would fit quite well there, and hopefully, playing week in, week out at a top level European league would certainly improve him massively, and then he can come back to Arsenal. I mean, I don't think you want to cut your losses on Tavares straight away if you're Arsenal. I think there's clearly a good, talented player there. He's got the attributes to be very, very good. He just needs to calm himself down at times. He needs to work on his defensive side of things. That's for sure. But there is a player there. You can tell it, and everyone you speak to can see it. In the game, they can see it that he's got the attributes to be a real, to be a decent player. And I don't think you want to cut your losses if you're Arsenal in one season for him. I do feel like a loan would be perfect for him, and a club like Atlanta just feels like a good potential move. But as they said, it's hard to sign players from the Premier League, even if it's just on loan because of the wages. And we'll have to wait and see how the summer progresses when it comes to Nuno Tavares. But personally, I feel like it's a good deal. Let me know what you guys think, though. Would you sell him now, or do you think, like me, a loan might be a good option for Tavares to get him playing regular first team football and then bring him back at the end of next season and see how much he's progressed and how much he's improved by playing week in, week out? If you haven't seen it yet, please do head over to Sam Dean. He's the Arsenal reporter, or he's a football writer for the Daily Telegraph, but he covers Arsenal. I don't think his job title was officially Arsenal reporter, but he's a Telegraph's Arsenal man. Brilliant reporter, and he's done an exclusive interview today with Eddie Nketiah. And if you haven't seen it yet, go over to his social media or go to mine, because I've retweeted it earlier this morning, and give it a read, because it's a really good interview. And there's some really interesting points in there from Eddie, I thought, and especially he was asked by Sam about the fact that he signed this new contract, but everyone knows Arsenal are signing a striker this summer. Does that worry you? That sort of thing. And he said, every team needs a squad to compete. The club is always looking for ways to strengthen. They've extended my deal and they've done that for a reason. Whoever comes in, you relish the challenge, you make them feel welcome, and you fight and compete. And I think that's a good attitude to have for Nketiah, because I think he knows he's not stupid. When he signed this new contract, he wasn't signing it to be absolutely guaranteed Arsenal's first choice striker next season. He knew that the club were going to be bringing in at least one forward this summer. He knew he was going to have to compete, and I don't think Mikel Arteta's the type of guy who would lie anyway and say, look, if you sign, you're going to be my first choice. He wouldn't have said that. He would have said, look, you're going to sign, we're going to bring someone in, you're going to have to compete, you're going to get chances, but you're going to have to compete. If you perform well, you'll be in the side. And I've said it before. I think I've got no issue with Eddie signing this contract. I think it's a win-win for Arsenal on both on every side really, because if he does well, then great, you've got yourself a homegrown striker who loves the club, who's doing well, and he's only going to get better because he's only 23 at the moment. If it doesn't quite work out, then at least you're going to get money for him, because you'd have lost him for free if he hadn't signed this new contract. So I've got no issue with it. Till he talks about lots of other stuff in this interview. Like I said, it's well worth a read. Talks about taking on the number 14 shirt. He talks about his relationship with Mikel Arteta, lots of things. So like I said, head over to Sam Dean's Twitter account. You can find it easily, and if not, head over to my account and you can see I've retweeted it earlier this morning because it's well worth a read. In terms of loan deals, there's been another couple announced. We've seen a couple in the last week or so, like Rekic heading out to Holland. There's been another couple announced today. Mika Bierif, he's gone out to Holland as well. He's joined RKC for the season on loan. Bierif obviously was the under-23's main striker last season after Balogun had moved to Middlesbrough on loan. He came in from Fulham last summer, had a very good first season. Now he's headed out to the Eredivisie, which looks like a good move for him. You know, playing senior football, men's football in a decent league. And Arsenal have high hopes for him. You know, he's a very talented player. The way he's sort of adapted in his first season has impressed a lot of people. And it'll be interesting to see how he gets on over there. And also Tyrese John-Jules, who's been so unlucky with injury in the last couple of years. Really, you know, Arsenal really did rate they do rate John Jules, and he's had a horrible time with injuries. Went over to Blackpool, just wasn't really fit. Went over to Sheffield Wednesday, got injured straight away last season, so didn't have any sort of impact there. He's gone out again on loan. He's joined Ipswich now for the season, and hopefully, touch wood, he can stay injury-free and can really sort of show what he can do, because he's a good player, Tyrese John-Jules. He's a good, proper kind of number 9 penalty box striker, but he doesn't link up well. And you know, Mikel Arteta was a big fan of his when Arteta first arrived. He brought him in to train in a lot in and around the first team. He spoke about him in press conference. You know, he did catch Mikel Arteta's eye. He's a talented player, and it's just been such a shame what's gone on with him in terms of the last couple of seasons with the injuries, and it's definitely hampered his development. And he really needs a good loan this season to go out, stay injury free, get playing, and make an impact in senior football, because I've got no doubt that he's good enough. So that's just feels like a good move for him, for Tyrese, and hopefully he can go on and impress and really sort of kick on in his development now. Alright, that's about it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. Everyone, appreciate your time as always. Anything you've agreed with, disagreed with, as usual, let me know in the comments below. If anything happens in the next day or so, be sure to keep checking my social media and goal.com for all the very latest Arsenal news. If I hear anything, if anything happens, I will put it out. All of you keep saying transfer news on social media. I'm not reporting it. It's just the fact that there isn't any at the moment. Nothing confirmed anyway. Nothing's really moved on. I can't report something that hasn't moved on. So if something does happen, if news does break, then you'll see it first over on goal.com and my social media. So keep checking. Till then, everyone, have a very good day. Enjoy yourselves, and I'll hopefully be back to bring another video tomorrow. Have a good one.